Once upon a dusty trail back in '11, when the world was painted sepia and the West was still wild, I found myself in a bind that'd make even the toughest cowpoke think twice. They called me Dusty Jim, a moniker earned under the unforgiving sun and in the quiet hours of hardship. Now, it happened on a ranch down in Texas, where the sunsets were golden and the cattle outnumbered the tumbleweeds. There I was, just a young whippersnapper with dreams taller than a Texan skyscraper, but reality had a way of cutting down those dreams like a rusted saw on an old cedar log. The ranch was on the brink of ruin, shackled by debts deeper than a prospector's mine. Cattle rustlers were more common than Sunday sermons, and a drought was siphoning the life out of the once lush pastures. The old barn leaned like a drunkard on a Sunday morning, and the wind whispered tales of the ranch's demise. One day, a storm rolled in like the wrath of the gods. Rain hammered the land, lightning split the sky, and thunder roared like an angry buffalo. In the midst of this tempest, I saw a glimpse of hope, a tree standing tall, unwavering in the storm's fury. It was an old oak, roots deeper than the Lone Star State itself. Now, I figured if that old oak could weather the storm, so could we. I rallied the ranch hands and we set about shoring up the fences, mending what we could and facing the tempest head on. It was a test of grit, not just against the storm, but against the adversities that had threatened to swallow us whole. In the quiet aftermath of that tempest, with rain-soaked boots and muddy faces, we looked at the ranch. It still stood, battered but unbroken, much like us. The old oak, standing sentinel, seemed to nod in approval. We had weathered the storm, just like the countless folks who had faced challenges in the unforgiving years of yore. It wasn't just about fixing fences and tending to cattle. It was about confronting the obstacles with a spirit as unyielding as the old oak, with roots that delve deep into the very essence of resilience. The ranch, much like life itself, had taught me a lesson not written in books but etched in sweat, dirt, and the unspoken tales of those who dared to stand against the winds of time. In the heart of that tempest, the heavens cracked open, unleashing a symphony of chaos. Raindrops, fat as a rancher's paycheck, pelted the earth with a rhythmic fury, turning the soil into a muddy battleground. Lightning streaked across the sky, sharp as a cattle rustler's knife, and thunder roared, echoing through the vast expanse like the defiant bellow of a wounded bull. I recall the gusts of wind, relentless and wild, tearing through the ranch like a stampede of ghostly mustangs. The old barn creaked and groaned, resisting the onslaught, while the ranch hands clung to their hats like desperados holding on to stolen gold. Amidst the chaos, the cattle lowed in a dissonant chorus, their eyes reflecting the wild fear of creatures caught in the maelstrom of nature's fury. The very air crackled with energy, as if the storm itself were an elemental force, an angry deity reminding us mortals of our frailty. Yet, in the eye of that tempest, I spotted that old oak, its branches dancing with defiance against the storm's relentless waltz. It stood firm, a testament to the resilience that nature, and perhaps life, demanded. Inspired, I rallied the ranch hands, their faces streaked with mud and determination, and together we faced the storm. We mended fences with hands frozen from the biting wind, our tools clinking like a miner's picks in the depths of a darkened mine. The rain, a relentless companion, clung to our clothing like a ghostly shroud, and the thunder, a distant drumbeat, set the rhythm for our struggle. As the storm began to relent, the ranch emerged from the turmoil, battered but breathing. The fences stood strong, patched with the sweat and tenacity of those who refused to surrender. The cattle, once wild with fear, now grazed peacefully in the aftermath, a testament to the resilience of both man and beast. In the quiet moments that followed, as the rain's final droplets tapped on the leaves like a farewell applause, We gathered in the makeshift shelter of the repaired barn. The old oak, still standing tall, seemed to nod in acknowledgement. We too had weathered the storm, and in doing so, we had unearthed a strength within ourselves that we never knew existed. And so, as I sit here, rocking on a porch worn smooth by years of contemplation, I can't help but ramble on about that storm of 11. It wasn't just rain and wind. It was a test, a rite of passage etched in the very fabric of our existence. Life, much like that tempest, throws challenges our way. It's in the facing of these challenges, in the muddy trenches of adversity, that we discover the mettle to outlast the tempests. The old oak and I, we share a nod of understanding whenever the wind whispers tales of the storm of 11. And in that nod, there's a silent acknowledgement, a nod to resilience, a tip of the hat to life's wild and untamed beauty. In the midst of that tempest back in 11, when life was as wild as the West and I was just a young dreamer, it took a handful of timeless principles rooted in ancient wisdom to weather the storm and find the resilience needed for success. Here's a glimpse into what it took and how anyone can apply these methods to face just about anything. Resilience in stillness. Finding a moment of stillness amid the chaos was my anchor. Much like ancient meditation practices, that stillness allowed me to face the storm with a clear mind. When life gets turbulent, embracing moments of inner calm provides the resilience needed to tackle challenges head on. Adaptability and repair. As the ranch faced the tempest, I embraced adaptability and resourcefulness, much like the wisdom of Taoism. Repairing fences, adapting to the situation at hand. This mirrors the ancient philosophy of being open to change. In life, creatively adapting to circumstances is a powerful tool. Unity and shared purpose. The ranch hands and I rallied together, embodying the ancient wisdom of community and shared purpose. Ancient philosophies often stress the strength of unity. In facing challenges, building a supportive community and aligning with a shared purpose provides strength and resilience. Nature as a teacher. I drew inspiration from the old oak and the storm itself, recognizing nature as a profound teacher. This reflects the ancient practice of learning from the natural world. Applying this to modern challenges involves observing, adapting, and finding solutions inspired by the wisdom inherent in nature. Reflection and growth. The aftermath of the storm allowed for reflection. Much like practitioners of mindfulness, I embrace the importance of reflection for personal growth. Facing challenges often involves a period of introspection, learning, and evolving from the experience. Applying these principles to various life challenges involves cultivating stillness, adapting to change, fostering unity, learning from nature, and embracing reflection for personal growth. Ancient wisdom provides timeless guidance, offering a roadmap for navigating the storms of life with resilience and wisdom. And as I sit here, rocking on this porch worn smooth by the years, I reckon those ancient principles ain't just tales from yesteryear. They're guideposts for anyone looking to ride out life's tempests.